Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this Tuesday night? I'm doing my podcast tonight because originally I was planning to do it yesterday, which is typically when I do it. But I was not feeling well. I was just like sort of depressed, you know? And I was just not in a mood and I was working. I was trying to work and I was actually in Long Island, Eastern Queens, uh, Sunday night with a friend of mine. We were just talking, just drinking a couple of beers, whatever, right? And then I came back Monday. I was kind of tired. So in any case, here I am. Here I am. How is your week going so far, huh? The fucking problem is with this weather is that and it's the most annoying, one of the most annoying things, all right? And that is like today, the weather was so nice here, right? It was like 73, 74 degrees, right? And then I'm looking at the weather over the weekend and it's just shitty. It's like cloudy and rainy, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, this is when the weather is actually getting nicer, right? I mean, the temperatures are getting warmer and the whole jazz, right? This is the most fucking annoying thing that the weekend weather is worse than the weekdays, right? Because weekdays, who gives a fuck about like weekday weather? Because all you're doing is working, you know, unless you are a famous whatever, like musician who had an outdoor venue booked and then you got ran down. Other than that, nobody gives a fuck about the weekday weather. Yeah, it's nice not to have rain and snow and fucking 40 degrees, right? Frozen as tundra. All right, sir. Well, I'm sorry. So I had to start my podcast on this negative note, I guess. I guess. Um, I was again, you know, this is related to the fucking weather, right? And I was talking to my wife today, and this is the bonding time for us, right? Or is the bonding time over already? This is the time. This is our separation time of separation, right? Separation. So obviously she's annoyed, and I get annoyed too. What the fuck? We've been married for over 15 months, more than actually 15. You know, and we're not together, right? And so I understand. She's frustrated more than anything. And I love her. Um, what the hell I was trying to say, and then I just switch the gears. All right. Oh yeah. So I want to go actually someplace like where I can be in nature, like Poconos, right? Or go to Bear Mountains, right? And just do some fucking hiking, right? Be in nature. And then I can't. It's still fucking cold, especially weak, you know. And as much as like my life is kind of boring in that sense, right? What's my life, right? Well, I mean, I shouldn't say boring, but like I have, in terms of my personal hobbies, I'm very limited. Golf is the only hobby I have. Sometimes I'll go out and just play pool, right? But that's not really a hobby. I mean, I like playing pool, at bars and all that, but that's really, really not a hobby. And then, what's the other one? Oh, yeah, I like to hike, I like to be out in nature and hike and then this goddamn weather, it's not changing. So that's the annoying part, right? About Northeast New Jersey, New York weather. Well, listen, what else? Okay, so then what the hell am I going to do? If I tell my wife, oh, she's going to be like, oh, you're going to play golf again? I mean, yeah, I don't have any other life. What else do you want me to do? Play golf or just sit home or just, that's it, really. Without sounding um depressed already, just the thought of just the thought of the fucking weekend weather. Let's start podcast with a positive note. All right, let's just talk about something else. What else? Is the world coming to an end yet? I was actually watching that fucking speaking of world coming to an end, I was watching that kind of old show. It's 2019, right? It's called War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds obviously has been based on H.G. Wells' book from the 1880s, right? And they basically made, I think, movies. One of them was with Tom Cruise. Remember, I fucking hated that movie. And then there was other show, right? And then this is like the third genre, fourth genre, right? Set in England in 19 what, oh 05 or some shit, right? And so without spoiler alerts, I think I'm gonna continue watching that because they had two seasons starting 2019, and I think probably COVID hit, and then they shut it down. I have no fucking idea, but I like that show, right? It's kind of dystopian, really. It's like like a lot of movies, a lot of dystopian movies. They don't actually tell you what exactly happened, right? At the moment of what the fucking nuclear bombs went off, or the asteroid hit the fucking planet, and then the dinosaurs became extinct, right? They don't show you in these movies what exactly happened, right? Although I think speaking of the dinosaurs movies, there's a new movie with Adam Driver, which actually does show when the asteroid started hitting the fucking planet, right? What is it called? 666 BC? What the fuck am I saying? I think it's like, when did the dinosaurs become extinct? 360 million years ago? I don't fucking know. 66 million years ago. 66 million years ago, I think, right? All right, okay, so I'm just fucking jumping from one topic to the other. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is that this show actually started off with what happens at the advent of dystopia, right? I'm not going to tell you whether what happens. It's an old show. Maybe I tell you. I don't give a fuck. All right. Uh, and what am I getting? I mean, besides just getting some entertainment, then it's not like they're fucking paying me. Are they gonna sue me, or anybody's gonna fucking sue me for like spoiler alerts? Right? Maybe, maybe just to annoy people, I should watch the newer movies. I was actually looking up what are the new movies coming up. Oh, Furiosa, Furiosa. Remember the Mad Max? The last one with what's his name, Tom Hardy, and Furiosa was one of the characters. Right? So they're making a movie. It's like an offshoot of fucking Mad Max, right? So maybe I should watch when Furiosa comes out of the fucking, the not the film studios and goes into movie theaters, right? And I should just do like a 15-minute monologue and I should tell the whole fucking world on my YouTube channel the whole story, right? Plot. Well, that's not going to affect anybody, sir. What, like your six listeners? Two of them probably are interested in Furiosa, right? I'm just saying, just to annoy people, right? Um, so, so they tell you at the advent in this show, right? War of the Worlds, at the advent of like what happens at the advent of fucking dystopia, how it happens, and then the storyline begins, right? As opposed to, oh, we know some shit happened, and now these people are living in a post-apocalyptic world without us knowing about apocalypse, exactly what happened, right? Well, listen, that may be why. That may be why for us to colonize a place like Mars, I shouldn't use the word colonize, terraform a place like Mars, right? Then what we gotta do is that we gotta be, you know, at a point where we don't basically start Martians versus fucking Arthur's war, and then the fucking Belters, right? Isn't that the premise of that show, Amazon show? What is it called? Expense. Oh, that's a fucking great show. Expense. Check it out. It's like the fucking what do you call the Star Trek times four in terms of graphics and all that. It's not the same story, but it's about Earth and Mars, right? Nothing beyond and in between. All right, Expanse. All right, that's a fucking great show. So this show is basically it's telling you how the apocalypse happened and then now what's going to happen after, right? Uh, am I going to turn my podcast into movies and shows? No. I mean, I'm just saying because I don't think there are any good movies are coming out these days. Anyways, I have no fucking idea, but I think I do sort of, right? Um, speaking of which shows and movies, there is a Broadway show based on my one of my favorite science fiction movies, right? Back to the Future is on Broadway. Back to the Future is on Broadway, and am I going to watch it? Am I going to see it? I wish my wife was here, then I would just take her, right? I think we would watch the fucking movie first, and then she's into that, sort of. Not 100% as much as I am into like science fiction and all that, right? But once you've seen the movies, right? There were three of them. Remember the franchise, the Back to the Future franchise, Doc, and the fucking DeLorean, right? You speed it up to 88 miles per hour, and then it just fucking transcends time and becomes a time machine, right? With the flux capacitor, remember that shit? And then you see the show, right? And then you see the Broadway show, and then obviously you'll be like, holy shit! Unless the Broadway show that they have made is like it's a really shitty one, then you'll be like, oh fuck, why the fuck did I waste my fucking money and time, right? I'm hoping not. I mean, usually Broadway shows are pretty good. Some of them, not all of them, just to clarify. Uh, so let's see. I mean, I haven't seen a Broadway show in like gazillion years. Gazillion fucking years. All right. So, so that's my take on, like shows and oh, by the way, so Jerry Seinfeld also just produced a movie. Apparently, I was just listening to some podcast. He's basically trying to promote, I think. Bill Burr's in there too. Jesus. But the premise of the movie is about like fucking this war between two breakfast cereal makers, Kellogg versus what's the other one, right? Without spoiler alerts. But the lines in there, I heard, they are funny, and obviously you saw comics, right? Fighting over fucking breakfast cereal, right? The two companies. I don't know. I used to like cereal, but not anymore. Um, I just like to have my egg whites, and my potatoes, and then one cup of coffee, right, from Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or one of those, right? Dunkin' Donuts coffee is obviously is stronger, right? Even than Starbucks. For me, it's just one cup of coffee, one small or medium cup of coffee with milk and sugar, and I'm all set. I don't like cereal anymore. I mean, milk and cereal. Who does that? Are you a kid? I don't know. Speaking of which, I was supposed to make some potatoes and all that, but then I didn't have time, and I was talking to my wife on the phone, and she's already frustrated. I didn't want to make her frustrated anymore, and whatever, right? And so I had some deadlines, because I didn't work more than like 4 or 5 hours yesterday, and so I had to basically catch up, right? Work is good. It keeps you tough, and then sometimes, I was just, and I feel like, well, I mean, what am I doing all this for? And then I'm like, oh yeah, man, you're doing that. First of all, you're doing this for you and for your wife, and you have to keep going. Unless, you switch careers at the age of my age, and then do what? I can't. I can't. I don't have any skills, any other fucking skills to switch my career or experience, nothing. So I'm gonna stick with engineering for as long as I can. I'll probably be like fucking working even like half of my feet, half the length of my feet are in my fucking grave, right? Because especially, at this age, if I want to have a kid, and by the time my kid is older, if I do have a kid, if we decide to have a kid, right? Which I know my wife does want to have one, and I do too, if things work out. But, it's not easy to have a kid when you are, at my age. And I know, I mean, kids are fun. And by the time, he or she would be, let's say, out of high school, I'd be fucking whatever, 68 or 60, I mean, 70, right? And I'm not a celebrity with a lot of fucking money. So that means that I'll have to basically work until I'm gone. Huh? Um, what else going on, everyone? It was a beautiful day today, actually. Sort of, it felt like summer, and then summer here, it's weird too in New York, New Jersey. Like if you are in the middle of August, right? It's hazy and it's fucking moisture and a lot of, and it's just like, and you're like, oh, you know what? We need some fucking wind and some breeze and all that, right? No, 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 sir. Okay, don't fucking jinx the whole thing because the warm weather up here is nothing compared to, let's say, if you are in a place like, even Islamabad or even like Florida, right? Or Texas. No, no, up here is fine. Up here, summers, I have no issues with summers, all right? Because I can play golf and, I can hike and, etc., etc. Sit outside in a bar and just like have a beer and, talk shit with your friends. Um, but comes fucking end of the year, right? And end of the year, and it just becomes that it just becomes that time of the year when you have that feeling that, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is holidays, and then, oh my fucking God. And then what after holidays is like the most depressing time in Northeast, right? Uh, Again, I'm sorry, I apologize. Maybe I'm just sounding too depressed. Yeah, maybe I am, but I'll try to be cheerful as possible. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Try to live in the moment, sir. Try to live um, in the present. Do not think too much about fucking future. Plan for it, right? Don't even fucking think about the past. Past has no fucking, bearing on your life right now. Unless there's something that's bothering you from the past, then you should go for therapy and whatever the fuck it is, right? Resolve it with whoever you need to resolve it, right? Which I don't, in my case, I don't think I have anything. Uh, yeah, sometimes I feel, and I say this on my podcast that, about, my relationship with my father, but then he's a fucking nerd. And, I realize that, nerds really don't care about, you know, like they have a different set of mind. I think that's what it is. I'm not saying that my father didn't do anything for us, but it's just the what do you call the communication was not there, and that was the biggest thing for me. When I was growing up, the communication. When communication is not there, then it just becomes like we become too far apart. And in any case, all right. So let's just stick to what I wanted to say in terms of positivity, right? So, all of a sudden, I felt I realized I was fucking falling into some sort of a black hole of, what the fuck, man, I don't know anything about my wife's case, and I don't know when she'd be here. I have no other plans, and try to, get another visa. I mean, I would like to go to Europe because I've never been there. If I can save some money and then maybe she gets the visa, hopefully. And at least we can just, see Europe, right? Meet my brother and my younger sister. She's there too, right? So maybe that's what I should do. And that's like plan B, right? And hopefully we'll hear something by then. But in any case, so sometimes, yeah, sometimes, I fall into that abyss and in my mind, I think, and then I just stay there. I think about like, okay, even like for me, I'm not even talking about, oh, what am I going to do like in summer or in fucking like fall or yeah, depressing time of the fucking end of the year, right? Yeah, sometimes I just get depressed by thinking about tomorrow. Okay, live, eat, shit, repeat. right? And maybe I need more excitement in my fucking life. I don't know. I mean, the more excitement. I'm not saying that as I'm growing older, I need more excitement in my life. I think I need a little more like tranquility. Yes, tranquility and peace. Peace of mind, which I don't have right now. The biggest thing for me in my life is like not being together, right? And then the peace of mind for me, I think, is, hey man, maybe you should just spend your time, in a more useful manner, instead of like being depressed and thinking about, like the repetition of the day, and talking to yourself through your podcast, talk to your fucking couch or these chairs or whatever the fuck it is, right? That's a reality, that's a reality. But then what's new? I mean, am I going to just think about these things and not move on with my life? And at least I got work that keeps me busy. Work keeps me busy, and I did play golf with my brother-in-law and my sister again last Saturday. And we went to this amazing barbecue place in Staten Island, right? That's where we played golf. And I'll probably be doing the same shit, like I'll be playing golf again this weekend. What else is new, sir? Huh? I am complaining too much, I think, about life. I think in the back of my mind, maybe I'm complaining too much about the life, without looking at people who actually are less fortunate than I am. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like, you know, somebody who actually really thinks about those things, right? I mean, I'm not saying that I'm narcissistic, or I basically just I'm extremely fucking selfish and all that. Yeah, to an extent maybe I am, but uh, if I'm not happy in my own fucking head and in my not satisfied to an extent in my life, what's the point of like me when talking about, oh hey man, you should be more grateful. And yeah, I should be more grateful, I think. But thinking for me to think about less unfortunate people, and then compare myself to them. Yeah, maybe that's one way to look at life, right? But then at the same time I just feel like there's always some fucking void in my head, in my life. There's some maybe I'm just like waiting for some fucking utopian, whatever, not dystopian, moment to occur in my life. I have no fucking idea. Like what, sir? Like a lottery? Nah, I'm not lucky enough to like fucking win any lotteries, but I don't know. I don't know. There's some fucking dissatisfaction in our life that always stays with us. So then maybe you should maybe I should look at life to see what else I want to do that would actually give me some sort of satisfaction, right? I have been thinking about a lot about writing, but then writing is just not, it's not easy. For that you have to have a lot of, again, that's a skill too, skill, and then you have to have a lot of like discipline, you know. I don't. Unless I need that because if I don't do that, then I'm gonna starve or I won't be able to pay fucking bills, right? I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I've written some engineering books and all that, right? But that's just I don't know. Science fiction? I don't know, man. I'm not good. I'm not creative enough for me to be a writer, or write about fucking aliens, as a hobby. I have no fucking idea. I think those are the moments. Uh, it's like a light bulb goes on in your mind, from an early age. I think, especially for these famous writers. And who the fuck am I to compare myself to these famous writers? Um, some sort of a moment that occurs. Is that what it is? I have no idea, man. And I'm too fucking lazy. I'm too fucking lazy to write about anything. You know. Yeah, maybe I can write about what can you write about? I mean, and then at the same time, I feel like okay, so if I think everything has been written, everything has been said already, talked about, discussed. So what are you going to talk about, sir? In your fucking whatever you're going to write? I don't know. I don't know. I think you have to have that like, rhythmic sort of like mind. When you want to actually write, you have to have that rhythm and something. Um, I think something like, or you see a fucking dream. It's like you see a chapter of the book in every other night, and then you write it. No, most of the dreams you see, especially the REM sleep dreams, you don't remember them. Right? I do remember them, and oh, this is what I was going to say, right? After I watched that fucking show, right, and then I went to sleep late last night, and then I was having those exact same fucking dreams, like dystopian apocalyptic dreams, as if those fucking things are those aliens with their machines are basically fucking attacking Earth, and in some part, especially where I come from in the mountains, that they are taking over or they are basically getting rid of us or some shit, right? And that was a direct fucking dream after that fucking show, all right? And I saw those fucking alien ships. Oh my fucking God, I'm like, and then it becomes more interesting, right? So then your subconscious is like, all right, you know what, let's continue. And then I kept sleeping, and I woke up late, and I'm like, yeah, so maybe dreams are just like these subsided thoughts in our subconscious. It's like the fucking data, right? Information that your body and your mind takes in, right? And through movies or whatever the fuck it is, right? Events in life, right? Whatever you see every day, right? And then those become dreams somehow, or you can make them dreams, I think. So that fucking science fiction show became my dream, later on at night, and into the fucking morning. All right, well, isn't that better than a fucking nightmare? Although I felt like at the end, some fucking machine was trying to basically come after me. I'm like, holy shit. Um, all right, it's already what time it is? It's like 11 o'clock, 10:30 Tuesday night, and I got a lot of things going on. I mean, I say that my life is boring and this and that, but at least on my work side, I had to move my office, which was supposed to happen this week, et cetera, et cetera. And And I have to just focus on work. I think, I mean, if I live later in my life, let's say that maybe, and then if I have some time where I do not have to worry about fucking bills and this and that, right? Then maybe I can, and then and then my mind and my thoughts subside, right? More tranquil, and then maybe I can do something in terms of like fucking writing something. I have no fucking idea, right? I mean, I don't want to fucking brag about like, oh, I want to write something. What do you want to write about? Sorry, I have no fucking idea. All right. Yeah, do you have to have that bulb moment in your fucking brain, you know? And I never had that. I don't think I will ever have that, you know. Um, or other than that, you have to be a writer from the beginning, you know, of your life. Um, all right, everyone. So dreams are an interesting phenomenon. All right. I mean, I said that they are basically just like these subsided thoughts and information that gets stored right in our what read-only memory, right? Which you can actually come bring back to your consciousness, and then that comes out in your memory in your subconscious consciousness comes out sometimes through the act of dreams, right? Events are dream acts, right? And what is that? Is that like being on a fucking psychedelic, except that you're not on a psychedelic, but you might be on an androgynous psychedelic, such as what? DMT, possible, right? That your body produces, your brain, your lungs, whatever, right? And then that takes you to this fucking, like alternate universe, right? So if you think about the dreams are actually an alternate universe, right? Except that they don't really have an effect on this universe, this reality, right? Some people say that, oh, you know what? We see things that we know they're going to happen in the fucking future, right? Somehow, we get some sort of premonition. No, not premonition. I don't want to use that word, but some sort of revelation that, oh, by the way, this might be related to your, I don't know, success, or you are losing your fucking job, or your, I don't know, right? Or health, you know. But that may be true. But then the question is, how does that happen, right? Because one time I remember listening to some sort of a podcast or something. Maybe it was Joe Rogan's or one of those, right? Where some guy actually, had some sort of a heart attack or some shit, and then he saw that the night before exactly, some shit, right? Yeah, but that's a fucking scary one, right? In his dreams, he saw that, and then he's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And the next day, he basically he ends up at the fucking hospital. Is that what it is? So then the question is, how does, okay, so does our consciousness somehow have some fucking information about our future events? And sometimes those, surface in our fucking dreams. I have no idea. All right. I mean, any dream you can see, you can just look up on fucking Google, and usually you get like some sort of an interpretation of the fucking dreams, right? Which may or may not be accurate, and who knows? Who the fuck knows, right? Because it's like that's like pseudoscience, right? Uh, because nobody can explain dreams, really. I think not even our like even 21st century science can actually explain what the fuck dreams are. And we're talking about like what consciousness is. Give me a fucking break, humans. All right. And so if, for example, somehow our dreams reveal our future, how do you tap into that and really look into your fucking future and see all the fucking events? Right? Just imagine that would be like you know your future ahead of time, right? Now that would be real science fiction. That is real science fiction, right? That doesn't happen, you know, unless your body maybe it has something to do with if your body really is going to go through some sort of a real stress, right? Such as like what happened to that guy, right? And then it's trying to tell you something, you know. But then it's like a two fucking pronged sword, right? Oh yeah, you already fucking saw you were almost dying in the dream before, and then it's going to be repeated in the fucking real life. Why? Unless that dream comes first, and then somehow he's telling you, hey man, by the way, our lady, or you know, maybe you can just change the course, and maybe you can do something. Don't go that road, and then you're gonna end up in the fucking ditch. Maybe you hit the car, some shit, right? But then it isn't that the causality and the fucking what was that free will or whatever? I don't fucking. Am I even making any sense? I think I am making sense, but the whole thing doesn't make any sense. All right. All right. This is the last topic I wanted to discuss on my fucking podcast, dreams. You know, but those dreams I had were interesting. Those fucking alien ships I saw, right? And the way they were actually taking off from the fucking mountains, and they were, and everybody was trying to run away from them. It was exactly the show. Okay, sorry, you repeated yourself again. All right. And uh, well, let's just talk about some warm weather, some, like nice fucking, what do you call, hikes. And, I'm looking forward to those. I'm hoping that my wife will be here so we can do all this together, you know? Because she loves to hike, obviously, right? And, and I mean, I used to actually go camping and all that, but then I realized that I actually don't. Well, I mean, camping by yourself in the fucking woods, that's fucking scary, right? It's not scary unless you are, in some really like fucking black bear, territory. But I think what happens to us humans, I realize that like if you are out there camping by yourself, right? Which I won't do now because I'm just fucking old, right? I used to do that, and then I won't be able to fucking sleep, right? And I don't know. It becomes. I think what happens to us is that if you are in a fucking tent, right, and then you realize you're in the fucking woods, and I think that's our primal like instinct of like getting eaten by fucking bears and wolves. Is that what it is? Monsters, right? Or you see fucking monsters in your, you see nightmares. That's what happens to me when I'm out there by myself, you know. So that's a fear we always have, because that's what has kept us alive, That's how we have built these fucking homes from shelter from these, from animals and the predators and then weather and and then comfort and all that, right? So if you put yourself in a fucking tent, right? Try to sleep in the wild and see what happens, right? Nothing would happen to you, but your mind will basically make you fucking paranoid. All right? Yeah, I'm not going to fucking tent camp in a fucking tent. You know, it's more fun if you're young. You can set up the fucking tent and then you have that small cooked up right with the gas and whatever the fuck you're cooking with, right? Or even bonfire cooking and do a barbecue, right? Speaking of which, unfortunately, in our condo area, I can't do fucking barbecues anywhere, you know, and that sucks. In my old building at Lennox, they have that rooftop barbecue, and that's the sort of thing I miss. And I would just go up there, even when it's like fucking snowing, unless they have turned off the fucking gas grills up there, right? I would just go up there with some like T-bone steak and put it on the fucking grill and just sometimes you marinate even if you don't marinate, just like you know sprinkle some salt and some pepper, and that's it, man, and maybe a little bit of like fucking garlic, whatever, right? So that's what I fucking miss. And when it comes to something like summer, especially, that's the best. um so then go to Pocono, start do barbecue there. I don't know. Life is just, especially when you grow older, right? Uh, Life feels like sort of stagnant at the same time. At the same time, it feels like you're missing out on a lot of things. You should do this, you should do hiking, you should go wherever you want to go. Take 3 days off, sir. Just take a fucking vacation. And it's not easy either. It's a lot of fucking money. And what are the things that for example, when I tell myself, and again, this is sort of like again and again and again and again and again, it's I try to also have this podcast as some sort of a fucking self reflection, but then when I do the self reflection, I just feel like, yeah, you say these things over and over again, man, but then what did you do that's different, right? Positive, and something that actually you really liked and you wanted to do, right? And and then I forget what I want to do in life, and then I feel like I'm getting old, half of my fucking life is gone, you know and maybe even more than half, whatever, right? However many years I'm going to live. But then, am I sounding too fucking depressed on this podcast? I'm sorry, I apologize. But um I don't know. Sometimes I feel like even playing golf every week becomes fucking boring. You know, oh man, you do the same thing. Although it's like a therapy. But what is it that you want to do different, sir? You want to go somewhere? Maybe you should go somewhere. I don't want to. I don't feel like going anywhere, to be honest with you. And because I know that it's going to be like, where am I going to go, for example? Okay. I don't have any fucking plans until I know what's going to happen with my wife's case, right? Um, and then I might just make some plans for Europe. I have no fucking idea. And I don't know, man. A friend of mine actually, he was asking me if I wanted to go see a Yankees game. But then I had a dinner with one of my ex, colleagues in engineering, uh, you know, another engineer. I had dinner with him on Friday, and we just caught up. I he's Turkish, and I met him in Turkey when we were there. We were just catching up. And there's so many things, so many things in terms of, for example, I want to actually get into like solar installations, right? I want to get into fucking solar installations, but the problem is that I don't have fucking time. And doing actual construction work here, that's a different animal than, me doing engineering plans and this and that, right? I don't want to get in, get into too many details, but sometimes, I feel like I just basically spend all this time doing engineering and there's not a lot of fucking money. And maybe I'm not creative enough. I have no fucking idea. But um, there are opportunities. It's just that if you are by yourself running a company, it's not easy. And I'm not trying to, sound like, somebody who's really like going through some like fucking, I don't want to sound like somebody who has a lot of work to do. And yeah, I have a lot of work to do, but I'm not trying to, fucking get away from work. And, what I'm saying is that there's so many venues in there you can go into, construction is one of them. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's time for me to fucking change the career. No, man, not changing career, but I don't know. I had to be a little more creative and spend my time more productive. Right? Isn't that like the obvious, sir? However, I feel like I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's something I need to do. I don't fucking idea. What's our nothing. No, no, no. Forget it. Forget it. You're not the fucking in charge of this fucking world. Sometimes you know how we think about, oh, you know what? Maybe we should do something to bring a revolution in the fucking world in a positive way, right? Yeah, no, sir. Forget the world and forget even the town and the fucking city and the fucking no. If you can bring any personal like positive change in somebody's life first, starting with your own, right? And that's good enough, I think. And be nice to people, and don't get run over either by the fucking people and by the fucking world. Because that can actually just like fucking mull you into some other, you know, sort of like black hole of fucking depression, right? All right, okay, so let's just be a little more positive. Again, I'm sorry, I apologize. But the events of the world, I don't give a fuck about the events of the world. I have no fucking idea. All right? Yeah, no, I listen to news. Sometimes I watch news. Uh, Especially I'm working, but I shut down all the fucking news after like 6 o'clock, in the evening. That's it. Fuck it. And I do want to watch some fucking, shows and not shows or games. And a friend of mine, he was asking me if I wanted to go for Yankees game, right? That's what I wanted to say. Then I lost the chain of my fucking thought. Am I losing my fucking mind getting old? And I said, man, sorry, I can't. But I mean, the baseball games are really nice to actually watch live. Uh, And then what else is going on here? NBA? What else? The fucking uh, I haven't watched soccer in a fucking while. English Premier League is one of the good ones. Isn't the soccer World Cup is this year? I was this in 2022. Oh shit, it was in 2022. So that's like 2026 is World Cup soccer. I actually like World Cup soccer, starting with the fucking, what do you call the quarterfinals, not quarterfinals, was that quarterfinals? What's the one before quarterfinals? Quarter and octagonal finals, whatever the fuck are they called, right? Hexagonal. Uh, Group of eight. Is that what it is? Group of eight or group of 16? Whatever the fuck it is, right? Um, Premier League. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a fucking while, Manchester City is my team, and I don't know. Problem is that those games are like 6 hours ahead of us, so by the time you get to a bar with a friend or whatever to watch any games, that those games are in Europe, and I think there are some isn't actually soccer becoming more popular here in America? Uh, I have no fucking idea, but so there's NBA playoffs, so I might actually watch some of those, although I'm not into like basketball, but. In any case, everyone, I'm sorry, I apologize if this was a boring podcast, but hey, it is what it is. Maybe my life is boring. Sometimes, I just accept for what it is. Maybe that will, give me more tranquility, um, peace of mind instead of like, my fucking thoughts racing in all kinds of directions, right? All right, everyone. And is there anything else I want to say before I actually close my podcast? No, I think that's it. I mean, everybody, faces every kind of fucking issues in their lives, whatever it is. And I'm not saying that because I am or anybody is facing them, but life is just uh, a plethora. It's a multitude of things, events. And also, for some of us, maybe it's not as exciting as for others. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I want to be out there in a fucking pool, or on the fucking, golf turf every day. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I still haven't figured, just imagine I'm like 50, 51. I still haven't figured out the fucking life. That's what it is, right? Remember when you are like in your 20s, you're so excited, you have read all these books, you're reading all these, right? And then you are getting into your profession, and then you want to like be successful, you want to do this and do that, right? But when you're in your 20s, you really don't have a lot of, like what do you call practical, practical um, ways of thinking of how you would advance your life, or which, for example, which category, which career you want to choose, even, right? Even then. But where we come from in the mountains, we are just basically, we just stick to one category of fucking career, and then later on we realize, oh shit, you know what? Maybe I wanted to do something else. I think that's like the universal dilemma, right? Um, but especially for all you young people out there, and I understand, where I come from in mountains, where you guys are, there are not a lot of opportunities, so you have to stick with, where you can get a good job and good salary and this and that, right? America has a lot of opportunities, much more, obviously, vast, uh, and you never know, where the life is going to take you, in what direction, you know, in the best direction, hopefully, for you, for every one of us, right? Uh, and well, I think there's the positive note, right? That was my positive note. Did I wash all my fucking sins by saying that? That's like the prayer of the night, right? And yeah, just be happy, you know. Be happy to an extent in your life, and that's what it is. That's what life is, you know. I'm saying that to myself, and just talking out loud. That's the end of the fucking podcast, and I'll see you all next Monday or the week.